you, don't forget where we at. This is the seed of Abraham, blessed and highly favored. Master Musa, Exodus 14:14. I want you to read that. If you got a need to plant a seed in our ministry, go to theseedabrahamyosite.com and plant your seed with what you want for God to bless you. I want to say to you, as we talk tonight, that will be a new nation, and that will be held on Saturday, and Saturday at 6351, the Grand Ballroom in Chicago at 7 p.m. And you all invited to be there. A new nation, birth of a nation. I would say birth of a nation. I want to salute Reverend M.L. Sarden, Reverend Robert Briscoe. Also, I want to salute Reverend A.I. Dunlap, Dr. M.L. Sarden, John Hatchett, Albert Sampson. Also, the WSO organization, A.I. Dunlap, John Thurston, Chester Robinson, and all those people, Erica Jackson, Annie Ford Bacon, all them we honor to say something good about them. Don't forget Saturday, the 19th, 2022, at 6351, the Grand Ballroom right here in Chicago. Be there at 7 o'clock. A building of a nation, a new nation, a nation. So what we talking about, nation time. We talking about a new nation coming forth. You know, thank Brother Al Sampson. Then I want to look on here because it say, I want to look for you. This is SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Marcus Garvey Movement, Malcolm X Movement, the Dr. Martin Luther King Movement, and the Seed of Abraham. You can call to get further information, 515-60-5989. We on every night from 9 to 10, and we're talking about free the brothers that are political prisoners in jail. That's what we've been talking about in 2020, 21, 22. We're still talking about free the brothers out of jail. So get ready and be involved in what we're talking about, and let the door open up for you. God bless you, every letter, every telephone call. And I want to let you know, God got something great for you as we get ready to open our eyes. Marcus Garvey is the oldest movement. We're talking about Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey is the father of the movement. And then you got Malcolm, you got Martin Luther King. The Martin Garvey movement, the Malcolm X movement, Dr. King movement. And with the Dr. King movement and the Malcolm X movement is bringing black folks together in this Black History Month. And all the brothers that locked up political prisoners, we got to come together and a new nation, a nation of love, the nation of joy, the nation of economics. Exodus 14:14, read that, and step out and let the ancestor work for you. Don't let nobody tell you that you're inferior, that we might see. And for all them brothers that we have to come together tonight, I want to thank you, Brother Fred, that called me. Lisa, God bless you down in Georgia, you and Joe. I want to tell you, prayer changes things. And you can't complain all the time. You got to give it to God and let God direct your path. Don't forget, let me read it again. Don't forget the Grand Ballroom on the 9th, that's Saturday, the Grand Ballroom at 6351 Cottage at 7 o'clock. Chief Malik and we had Reverend Al Sampson will be there. Sister Janice will be there. I will be there. We're talking about we're talking about uh, birth of a nation. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about black folks coming together. I want to give a shout out for the West Side Organization, Chester Robinson. Give a shout out to A.I. Dunlap, M.L. Sarden, uh, Bob Scott, and also Legal Age Education for that. And also for Brother Meeks, God bless you tonight. This is Black History Month. It's time for us to come together and begin to work together to have something together. I'm glad that when I talk to those brothers to have that meeting, you ought to be there. If you're a black woman trying to get in business, if you're a black man trying to get into business, you ought to meet us at the Grand Ballroom at 6351 Cottage Grove, Saturday at 7 p.m. We're having Brother Jackson gonna be there running for congressman, but we're talking about coming together, stop the killing, save the babies, get some of our brothers out of jail that's in jail because they're political prisoners. We're talking about that. And tonight we're gonna play Marcus Garvey, and you know Marcus Garvey is the dean of civil rights. Marcus Garvey was talking about it a long time ago, and we want you to know that. Get ready for a breakthrough. SCLC MG, that's Marcus Garvey movement, Malcolm X movement, Dr. Martin Luther King movement. And I want to say to you tonight, it's time for you to go in business. One lady said she went to the hospital and they didn't even want to see her, you know, because they was Asians. Until we get our own black power, until we can own our own banks, our own hospitals, we ain't got to worry about nobody saying this, I'm sick or well. You're going to keep getting that until you begin to organize and get your own business. And one of the things, the problem is we have not incorporated our own business. Brother Marcus Garvey.
Namely, that God had created the black man inferior and that he had intended Negroes to be a servant class, hewers of wood and drawers of water. Well, I predicated my view of man on the doctrine of Imago Dei. All men, regardless of color, are created in the image of God. Now, from this premise followed the equality of all men and the brotherhood of all men. The biblical injunction of Acts 17:26 reminds us that he created of one blood all nations of men that dwell on the face of the earth. I was most interested in brotherhood within his own race, because if Negroes are created in God's image and Negroes are black, then God must in some sense be black. If the white man has the idea of a white God, let him worship his God as he desires. We have found a new ideal, because whilst our God has no color, and yet it is human to see everything through one's own spectacles, and since the white people have seen their God through their white spectacles, we have only now started to see our God through our own spectacles. But we believe in the God of Ethiopia, the everlasting God, God of Father, God of Son, God of Holy Ghost, the one God of all ages. That is the God in whom we believe, but we shall worship him through the spectacles of Ethiopia. For 250 years, we have struggled under the burden and rigors of slavery. We were maimed, we were brutalized, we were ravaged in every way. We are men. We have hopes, we have passions, we have feelings, we have desires just like any other race. The cry is raised all over the world of Canada for the Canadians, of America for the Americans, of England for the English, of France for the French, of Germany for the Germans. Do you think it unreasonable that we, the blacks of the world, should raise the cry of Africa for the Africans? The Negro is a man. We represent the new Negro. His back is not yet against the wall. We do not want his back against the wall because that would be a peculiar and desperate position. We do not want him there. It is because of this that we are asking for fair compromise. Where the Belgians have control of the Belgian Congo, which they cannot use, they have not the resources to develop nor the intelligence. The French have more territory than they can develop. There are certain parts of Africa in which they cannot live at all. So it is for you to come together and give us a United States of Africa. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are not going to be a race without a country. God never we're not going to abuse God's confidence in us as men. We are men, human beings, capable of the same acts as any other race, possessing under fair circumstances the same intelligence as any other race. Now Africa's been sleeping, not dead, only sleeping. Today Africa's walking around not only on our feet, but on our brains. You can enslave as was done for 300 years the bodies of men. You can shackle the hands of men. You can shackle the feet of men. You can imprison the bodies of men, but you cannot shackle or imprison the minds of men. Dive down, black men, and dig. Reach up, black men and women, and pull all nature's knowledge to you. Turn ye around and make a conquest of everything, north and south, east and west. And then when you have wrought well, you will have merited God's blessing, you will have become God's chosen people, and naturally you will become leaders of the world. God are entitled to the halo of martyrdom with no less glory than the
They didn't want you to listen to Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was talking about black power and black people independence a long time ago. And we got Dr. King was talking about another America, a white America and a black America. And Dr. King was talking about that. We're going to bring Dr. Martin Luther King. This is Black History Month. Dr. King was talking about a black America and a white America, a poor America. This white man is guilty of keeping us in slavery, and we're guilty of staying in slavery. So it's two America, one white, one black, two justice, one for white folk, one for black folk, and we're seeing it going on. And it haven't changed until we get ready to change it. And I always stokely
members of the faculty and members of the student body of this great institution of learning, ladies and gentlemen. Now there are several things that one could talk about before such a large, concerned, and enlightened audience. There are so many problems facing our nation and our world that one could just take off anywhere. But today I would like to talk mainly about the race problem, since I'll have to rush right out and go to New York to talk about Vietnam tomorrow, and I've been talking about it a great deal this week and weeks before that. But I'd like to use as a subject from which to speak this afternoon the other America. And I use this subject because there are literally two Americas. One America is beautiful for situations. And in a sense, this America is overflowing with the milk of prosperity and the honey of opportunity. This America is the habitat of millions of people who have food and material necessities for their bodies, culture and education for their minds, freedom and human dignity for their spirits. In this America, millions of people experience every day the opportunity of having life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in all of their dimensions. And in this America, millions of young people grow up in the sunlight of opportunity. But tragically and unfortunately, there is another America. This other America has a daily ugliness about it that constantly transforms the buoyancy of hope into the fatigue of despair. In this America, millions of work-starved men walk the streets daily in search for jobs that do not exist. In this America, millions of people but especially vermin, field, snow.